This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
This podcast is part of E2C Network, where we share the whole Auburn experience.
Hello and welcome to War Horses, the only college equestrian podcast that still thinks that Auburn should be number one this week. I'm your host, Auburn Elvis. Let's talk about some college equestrian. We had a lot of action this weekend, so let's talk about some meet recaps. First up, Texas A&M at SMU. The predicted score was SMU 11, Texas A&M 9. Let's see what really happened. In fences, SMU won that 4-1. On the flat, Texas A&M won that 3-2. In horsemanship, SMU won 3-2, and in reining, SMU won 5-0. That made the final score SMU 14, Texas A&M 6. Well, SMU finally got into the win column, and they did it in a big way. The stats thought that it would be close, but it wasn't. They had a 7-3 lead at half, and then they equaled that over in the second half, so just a great performance for them. For Texas A&M, this was still not a bad road loss. You generally expect the home team to win, and while an 8-point margin of defeat is not great, lots of teams get that when they visit SMU, so the Aggies are going to be fine. Our next meet, SMU at Baylor. We'll talk about a rare situation here where a team hosts in the same weekend and then they go on the road as well. So that's kind of weird, but yeah, SMU at Baylor. Now, the prediction for this was a 10-10 tie with SMU getting the tiebreaker. Here's what really happened. In fences, SMU won that 3-1. On the flat, SMU won 3-2. In horsemanship, SMU won 4-1. And in reining, Baylor won that 2-1. That made the final score SMU 11, Baylor 9. So SMU added an encore performance this weekend. This time it was on the road. The stats said that they were going to win in a tiebreaker, but they stretched that out to a 5-point margin. For Baylor, this is a bit disappointing. Again, you kind of always hope that the home team's going to win there. They got so many darn advantages. They were tied 4-4 at the half, so it looked like they had a chance, but then SMU's horsemanship performance just really closed the door on this meet. Up until this, Baylor was actually performing well, considering that they've had 4 tough road meets, but you really want to win at home, so dropping this one just sort of shows that the Bears are lagging behind some of their peers right now. Over we go to Swanee at Sweetbriar. This is a single discipline meet. The prediction was for Sweetbriar to win this one 7-3. Let's see what really happened. In fences, that went 4-1 for Sweetbriar, and flat also went 4-1 for Sweetbriar. That made the final score 8-2. So this wasn't very close. Sweetbriar is really, really tough at home. This was at home, so there you go. Sweetbriar won. For Swanee, they got 2 points at Sweetbriar. That's about as much as most teams are going to expect, so there you go. Then the next day, Swanee went over to Lynchburg. The prediction for this was Lynchburg 7, Swanee 3. Let's see what happened. Lynchburg won fences 4-1, and then they won the flat 3-2. That made the final score Lynchburg 7, Swanee 3. So this one lived up to the billing. Solid win for Lynchburg. Now, one interesting thing about this one is I knew going in that I wasn't going to be able to post the head-to-head matchups the day of. So what I did was the day before, I posted the matrices of the matchups for both events the night before. And what is cool is when you look at who actually won their points. In fences, Swanee's Emma Samath, she was favored to lose her point if she was matched up against just about any Lynchburg rider except Madeline Rubin. And then she got matched up against Madeline Rubin Ruben, and Emma won her point. So that was a big win for the statistics as much as it was for Emma. Now, I'm sure Madeline wasn't that thrilled about it, but I was. So there you go. It was a long shot for Swanee to get a win at Lynchburg, but even in the loss, they got 3 points, which is hard to do, and they helped prove the statistics right, so good job to them for that. Well, that was all of our action this past weekend. So now let's look at the impact it had on the official Auburn Elvis College Equestrian rankings. As always, we're going to do the dual discipline rankings first, and number 1 is Auburn. I covered this last week in more detail. Auburn has a slightly better resume than Georgia when you look at the away meets, but it's very close. I know some folks don't agree, but fortunately these two teams are about to face one another this week, and the winner is going to be the undisputed number 1 team in the nation after that. Number 2 is Georgia. Georgia's going to have their chance to shock the world. They're visiting Auburn this week. If they pull off the upset, then yes, I'm going to move them up to number 1, no problem. If not, then the NCEA voters are going to have to move them down. Even though, really, you shouldn't penalize a team for losing on the road, but the voters don't really get that. So it's okay this time because making that mistake is actually going to get their rankings more in line with the correct rankings. Number 3 is South Carolina. The Gamecocks are 5-2, and they're done for the fall. They won all the meets that they were expected to win, and their only losses were on the road to number 1 Auburn and number 2 Georgia, so it's pretty obvious that South Carolina is at least third team in the nation right now. Number 4 is Oklahoma State. The Cowgirls are 2-1. They have a pair of road meets coming up, and that'll be it for the fall for them. They have not ridden a lot, but they performed as expected. They won all their home meets. They lost to a good team on the road, and that's kind of what you expect from most teams. Number 5 is Texas A&M. The Aggies are done for the fall. They are 3-3, but they have underperformed a bit. The highlight of their fall was that 10-10 tiebreaker win over Auburn at home. They also had a pair of nice road wins out in California, but they gave up a critical home loss to Georgia that is just going to haunt them for the rest of the season. Number 6 is SMU. The Mustangs generated the only changes in the rankings this week. Their home win over Texas A&M and their road victory over Baylor is enough to lift them up to number 6. They are going to end their fall season 2-3, doing worse than expected at home against Auburn, but better than expected on the road versus Baylor. Number 7, TCU. The Horned Frogs are 3-3, and the home loss to Auburn was the only point when they underperformed. They generally looked good at home and not good away. TCU is done for the fall. Number 8 is Fresno State. The Bulldogs are 2-2 with a home meet against Oklahoma State upcoming. After that, they will be done for the fall. If they win that, then they will have performed as expected. If they lose it, then they will have underperformed a bit in the fall. Number 9 is UC Davis. The Aggies are 4-3. They've underperformed with that home loss to Texas A&M, but they made that up a little bit by going undefeated in conference play, some of which was on the road. Their upcoming meet against Oklahoma State will end their fall schedule, and it will tell us if they remain in the hunt for a spot in the national championship tournament. Number 10, Baylor. The Bears had a rough weekend losing at home to SMU. Their 1-5 ball campaign is done, and it wasn't great, but most of that was due to the 4 road trips that they made. They'll have a lot more home meets in the spring, so we'll see if their fortunes reverse a bit after the winter break. Now let's look at the single discipline rankings. Number 1 is Lynchburg. The Hornets are 6-0. They were at home for 5 of those, but they beat Swanee on the road, and that is the best road win in the country, so Lynchburg is number 1. Number 2 is Dartmouth. The Green are 3-0 with all of those coming at home, so they're doing what we expected, and we'll have to wait until the spring to see if they can surprise us with some road wins. Number 3 is Sacred Heart. The Pioneers are 2-1, having won all of their home meets, and they lost 1 on the road, so they're performing as we expected. Number 4 is Sweetbriar. The The Vixens are 2-3, but they're actually performing at a level that you would expect due to their 3 early road meets. They lost each of them, but we expect most teams to do that. So we're going to see how the spring goes for them with some of those opponents coming to visit Sweetbriar. Number 5 is College of Charleston. Like Sweetbriar, the Cougars are 2-3, and it's mostly due to those 3 road meets that are turning into losses. But again, those should flip in the spring with some more home meets. Number 6 is Bridgewater. The Eagles are currently 2-1 with a pair of road meets upcoming. Bridgewater is looking good this year and performing as expected. They're winning at home and they're losing away. Number 7 is Swanee. The Tigers are 1-4 with their lone win and neutral site victory over Minnesota Crookston's Jumpin' Seat squad. The Tigers picked up an early home loss to Lynchburg, but they've otherwise ridden as expected. Number 8 is Berry College. The Vikings are 0-2 with both of those losses coming on the road, but they have Bridgewater coming to town soon, and that should tell us more about how good Berry really is. And number 9 is Centenary.
It's a twister! It's a twister!
The Cyclones are 0-6, but they ain't afraid of nobody. I mean, they probably should be, but they ain't. We should all live our lives like the Centenary Equestrian team. It doesn't matter what life throws at them, they're going to keep on keeping on. All 6 of those losses were on the road, so we kind of expected them, but it would be nice to see them host a meet and just see what happens. But for now, we're just going to sit back and watch their road show. Okay, with the rankings done, now it is time to look into the future at this week's meets with some meet previews. First up, on Friday, Bridgewater College at Swanee. Fences is predicted to go 4-1 for Swanee. Flat is predicted to go 3-2 for Swanee. And if all that happens, that would make the final score Swanee 7, Bridgewater 3. Swanee has a chance to get back in the win column with this meet. So far, they have been a little underwhelming at home, but this is their chance to prove they can win when they have all the advantages in their favor. Next meet up is Oklahoma State at Fresno State. Fences is predicted to go 4-1 for Fresno State. Flat is predicted to go 4-1 for Fresno State. Horsemanship is predicted to go 3-2 for Fresno State. And reining is predicted to go 3-2 for Fresno State. If all that happens, that would make the final score Fresno State 14 to Oklahoma State 6. Georgia at Auburn. Okay, this is a big one here. Fences is predicted to go 4-1 for Auburn. Flat is predicted to go 3-2 for Auburn. Horsemanship is predicted to go 5-0 for Auburn. And reining is predicted to go 4-1 for Georgia. If all that happens, that would make the final score Auburn 13 to Georgia's 7. So here we have a prediction of Auburn winning by a decent margin at home, which is what you tend to see when Auburn's at home. But Georgia is very tough. Reining is going to be their bread and butter. Now that typically rides in the first half in Auburn's home meet, so we are going to know pretty early in this one if Georgia is going to keep things close or if Auburn might run away with it. So look for the reining scores if you're following this one, and that's going to kind of determine how this meet's going to go. And like I said in the rankings, the winner of this meet is going to be the undisputed number 1 team in the nation, so we'll see what happens. We have a couple more meets here. On Saturday, South Dakota State at Minnesota Crookston. Fences in this one is predicted to go 4-1 for South Dakota State. Flat is predicted to go 3-2 for South Dakota State. Horsemanship is predicted to go 3-2 for Minnesota Crookston. And reining is predicted to go 3-2 for South Dakota State. And if all that happens, that would make the final score South Dakota State 12 to Minnesota Crookston's 8. Now, the Jackrabbits are favored, but not by much. Riding at home should help the Golden Eagles, and I tell you, this looks like their best chance for their first program win, which would be really, really cool to see. So everybody keep an eye on this one, and maybe if they can flip a few of these rides their way, this one could get close, y'all. Okay, another meet to look at, Bridgewater at Berry. Fences is predicted to go 3-2 for Bridgewater. Flat is predicted to go 3-2 for Bridgewater. And if that happens, that would make the final score Bridgewater 6, Berry 4. Okay, here we have a rare road win prediction, okay? And this will be interesting to see if it comes true. Bridgewater has been putting up some points, even though they haven't got a lot of wins. And so, yeah, going on the road against Berry, the stats like Bridgewater in this one. We'll see if it comes true. Oklahoma State at UC Davis. Fences is predicted to go 4-1 for UC Davis. Flat is predicted to go 4-1 for UC Davis. Horsemanship is predicted to go 4-1 for Oklahoma State, and reining is predicted to go 3-2 for UC Davis. If all that happens, that would make the final score UC Davis 12 to Oklahoma State's 8. So UC Davis has looked good lately. They're drawing attention for another possible ride to the national championship tournament in Ocala, but they're going to have to win at home against some good teams. That's what they've got in front of them here this weekend. If they get this win, then their hopes remain alive. And our last meet of the week to look at is Berry College at Sewanee. Fences is predicted to go 4-1 for Sewanee. Flat is predicted to go 4-1 for Sewanee. And if all that happens, it would make the final score Sewanee 8 to Berry's 2. The stats like Sewanee at home in both meets this weekend, so we'll see if the Tigers can deliver. Okay, in our final thoughts here this week, I don't have a lot of extra stuff to talk about, so I'll just say everybody keep an eye on that South Dakota State at Minnesota Crookston meet, and we're going to watch and see if history happens there. That's all for this episode. I am your host, Auburn Elvis. Thank you very much for listening, and War Horses.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode on the E2C Network. On your way out, I want to remind you to stop by e2cnetwork.com. It's your one-stop shop for all our content across our podcast, YouTube channel, and much more. To stay up to date with us, make sure you're following social media accounts such as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. While our content here may always be Auburn sports heavy, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. War Eagle.